Oh my goodness, it's so good to see everybody here. There's so many people. It's incredible. This is very bright too, by the way. Trisia Farrelly, kia ora koutou. Ko Trisia Farrelly tōku ingoa from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I have some other compatriots also with me from Aotearoa, New Zealand and from the Pacific Islands who are also part of our Scientist Coalition. And I just want to thank all of you very much again for welcoming us and for all those wonderful words of wisdom, and for the dance, and for dancing with us. We really appreciate that. I just wanted to give a brief overview for all of you about where we're at the moment and who we are. So we are now over 300 scientists of the Scientist Coalition. We're 350 plus, in fact, and we represent scientists from over 60 countries to date. We have almost 50 scientists on the ground here at INC-4, and we're very, very happy to be here. We're very happy to be here to support member states and their negotiations through the INCs. We're very, very happy to be here to support you with independent science, i.e. science that's not tied up or funded by vested interests, not in petrochem, not in plastics. So when you read our policy briefs, and you saw some of the outputs that we produce on that short video, when you read our policy briefs, our fact sheets, our responses to the revised Zero Draft, which is all publicly available, you can trust that we are independent. We're voluntary, and we come from a wide range of different disciplines, and many of us are multidisciplinary. So many of us work wildly across disciplines. I myself am an anthropologist. We have ecologists, biologists, and ecotoxicologists, and we have social scientists from all stripes, and we have a very small number, but a very highly valued number of Indigenous scientists, and we're hoping to grow that body of Indigenous scientists within our coalition. Just to tell you a little bit about where we're at the moment, we've been extraordinarily busy in our voluntary roles. We all have full-time jobs, so this is in addition to our full-time jobs, all these things that we've been doing. We have been working very hard on some priority areas, and you'll see those represented in our outputs to date. You'll also see that in the presentations you're going to hear from panellists in just a moment. Here are our main asks. Here are our priorities. Through the independent science from our evidence base, not only from our scientists, but from other scientists outside the coalition, other trusted scientists, we are urging member states to dramatically reduce primary polymer production. So we're looking for primary polymer reduction targets, measurable time-bound targets at a global level target, and also at national level supported by national plans. That's number one for us. We're also urging member states to negotiate for a treaty that includes chemicals. We're interested in a treaty that includes trade provisions specific to the treaty. We want a science policy interface that is underpinned by a robust conflict of interest policy and a representation policy to make sure that we have representation from Indigenous knowledge holders, rights holders, rightful knowledge holders, from other stakeholders, multiple stakeholders, from citizen scientists, and from others as well. And we want to make sure we have regional representation in that science body. Not only, in fact, the science body as a subsidiary science policy interface under the Future Instrument, but we also really want intersessional work to develop some of the work we've started in between INC3 and INC4. So that work is to start making a clear rationale for a series of criteria. One of those is essentiality criteria. We've just published an essential use criteria policy brief today, and we're happy to share that with you. Safety criteria, again, based on a hazards-based approach. Sustainability criteria, including equally the three pillars of sustainability, that being economic, environmental, and sociocultural. And we want transparency criteria. So we have We've got lots of scientists here for you to talk to about all of that. We want this to be an integrated approach. We want to include the full life cycle of plastics, right from the extraction of the feedstocks used to make bio and fossil fuel-based plastics. We want to make sure that those also undergo a rigorous assessment criteria, led and guided by an independent science policy interface, again, with good representation. So there's a number of things that we're working on here. As you can hear, and there's many more, but I won't have enough time to talk through all of those. But you can see around the room, we've got some of the pieces we've been working on. But we do want to make sure that we cover the full life cycle of plastics. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Scientists Coalition when I say this necessarily, full life cycle. Life cycle is a little uncomfortable with that, but what we're looking for is to ensure that we are regulating plastics, again, right from extraction all the way through to remediation and the removal of plastics, and to ensure that those technologies too are safe and sustainable. And we really, really need a just transition, and we need to be very critical about what that means and look very carefully at what we mean by just transition. And finally, we want to make sure that the approaches that we take are led by the waste hierarchy, right at the top of the waste hierarchy at prevention. I think that's probably all I can cover now, but thank you. Thanks very much for joining us. We're really happy to have you here. Please come and talk to us. That's what we're here for. Kia ora.